Hi, welcome to Rob Savage Reviews. Today I'm going to be showing you how to assemble your new chainsaw. As you can see, this is the new one, but the process is the same. This is a 62cc Parker 20-inch bar that I got off Amazon 10 years ago, believe it or not. I'll link at the end to the review of that. So without further ado, let's get started. If you find this useful, please like and subscribe. So what you'll usually get with your chainsaw is the saw head, that's what we call it. You'll get your bar, you'll get a chain or a few chains, you'll get a spanner / screwdriver, and you'll get a fuel mixing bottle because it's a two-stroke machine, so you're going to have to mix two-stroke oil with petrol. You may get a bottle of two-stroke oil with it, you may not, you may have to purchase that separately. Also good to have some funnels on hand as well for filling up your oil, and you'll also need chain oil as well, that may or may not come with it.
Right, so all I'm doing here is releasing the chain brake. Then I'm using the included spanner / screwdriver to undo the bolts from the cover. These are usually 13mm bolts. If you want to use a socket and wrench to make it quicker, you can do. I'm just using the included tool here. And I'm just removing the cover now. And as you can see here, this screw mechanism is what you use to adjust the chain tension. I'll show you that later. You may have to back this off a bit in order to get the bar on properly. So now I'm taking the bar and I'm placing that slotted bit over the two bolts and seating it fully back against the clutch and sprocket. Now you want to make sure you get the chain facing the right way, so they want your cutters pointing away from the saw on the top and coming towards you on the bottom of the bar. So get it round the sprocket on your clutch and then on the end of the bar. I like to just get the chain into the guide slots at the start. Just makes things a little bit easier later on. As you can see, it can be a bit fiddly just getting things lined up, but it's not too hard. Now I'm getting that chain cover and I want to get that hole into that other hole. Wow, the knob, sorry, into that hole. And here you'll see where backing it off comes in, because at this point it's not in properly. So I'm going to use the screwdriver just to back that off a bit again. So you can see it wasn't far enough back. So just give it a few turns and try again. Can be a bit fiddly, as you can see, especially when you're trying to film things. Alright, now we'll give it another go. Trying to get that little nubbin inserted into the hole, and this time it's fitted in. So I'm just going to put the bolts back on, and we don't fully tighten the bolts, we just do it partially. Just give it a few turns on each one. You want it so it holds the bar in place, but it's not fully tightened on. So now we're going to use the screwdriver to tension the chain, turning that screw I showed you earlier. Don't worry if you can't see it properly, I've got a close up in a sec. So all this is doing is moving the bar out, which tensions the chain. And as you're tensioning it, just make sure that the chain's going into the guide rails on the chain. Sometimes the screw can be on the other side, it just depends on the make of your saw. So this is a close-up shot of that screw. And I'm just tightening it. Now you want to check the tension of your chain, and I can feel that's a bit too tight, it's a bit stiff to move. So all I'm going to do is just turn the screw the opposite way I did to tighten it, and that will loosen it up a bit. You don't want your chain sagging, but you don't want it too tight either. So that's a nice tightness now, and the chain moves freely. Right, so now all I'm going to do is fully tighten down those bolts now. And this is the last step of putting your chain. Just check the tightness again, and your chain freely moves. And that's how to put your bar and chain on. Now for fuel mixing, you want to fill it to the bottom line with fuel and the top line the rest of the way with oil. This uses a 25:1 oil mixture. Check your manufacturer's instructions. Now this is the chainsaw bar oil tank. So I'm just filling that up here. I'm using Rototech. I like to buy it in a big jug. It works out a lot cheaper than buying the small bottles. You should hopefully have got some with your chainsaw, but if you don't, most hardware stores sell it. Just be careful not to overflow the tank. So just fill it part way up, check how far you've got, and then just carry on filling. And there we go, I've filled up the tank. It's always important to make sure you've got enough bar oil so you don't overheat the chain and the bar. And that's how to set up your chainsaw.
Right guys, so that's how to set up your new chainsaw. A few things to consider: that your chain, it will stretch a bit as you first start to use it. So to begin with, just check the tension regularly. You don't want your chain coming off. Obviously make sure you've got enough bar oil in there, and make sure you're putting 2-stroke petrol in there, because this engine being a 2-stroke, it needs oil in the fuel to run. So thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.